Yo, what's going on, guys? It is Fox098 here. Welcome back to a brand new episode of my F1 2020 My Team career mode for you guys today here on the channel. So we're here for the Monaco Grand Prix Season 2 of this career mode. And as you can see, we have got ourselves an upgrade that is coming into this weekend. And actually, that's the first time that an upgrade that we rushed came to this weekend. Although it's for the power unit. So I probably shouldn't have bothered now thinking about it because I'm at Monaco and I'm also going to be using my heavily worn power unit. But it is an upgrade for the ERS, for the bearings. So that's not too bad. It means that we could just be a little bit more aggressive with the ERS. And I've also got another major engine upgrade that I want to put onto the car to increase the engine power, especially for, you know, probably after Azerbaijan, we'll be able to get that onto the car, unless I decide to go elsewhere, which I think I probably do. I might save the engine upgrade for the likes of Spa and Belgium and go that way instead, and then just start working on a couple of these minor upgrades to get us, you know, a little bit further ahead, and then after the summer break, we can smash out a couple of big upgrades in there. I think that's probably the most suitable way to go, but if you end up enjoying today's video, feel free to drop it a like and subscribe to the channel if you're new around here as well, as we try and make our way towards 20,000 subscribers, hopefully by the end of the year. Right now, we're going to have a look at the weather forecast. It's going to be nice and dry here at Monaco, and we've got the second fastest car on the grid still, and I thought I'd quickly go over the standings again, because every time that you go through the stats of, you know, your performances, if you do it before you go into a race weekend, it doesn't update properly, so I'll do it afterwards. So you can see Red Bull have actually overtaken us, I believe, in the chassis area. We still got the best aero on the grid, which is fantastic, and we're going to definitely still work on that, even though we're the best in that area. We are also then going to be using our heavily worn power unit for this weekend. So 73% there you can see on the ICE. Pretty much everything on this engine is literally yellow. So we're going to be definitely taking this heavily worn power unit into the weekend. But it does mean that as soon as we do, when we get to Azerbaijan, we have done the first 6 rounds on pretty much all components, bar the ICE, which I had to not run in Spain. I decided to run a brand new ICE in Spain, just so I could actually use the worn IC throughout the entirety of this Grand Prix. It then means that when it comes to the practice programs and all the practice sessions, I can then run this old power unit and literally get it till it dies. And then when it comes to the likes of, you know, the other circuits, I can go that way. But we do then go ahead and put in the major engine upgrades for our car to hopefully come for the Canadian Grand Prix, which is going to be great for us. We still have 500 resource points. We're only 200 shy of a minor upgrade, either for the chassis or for the aero. So it's still very, very positive signs and some good news that we can bring out heading into this session. But we're going to head into qualifying now for the Monaco Grand Prix. Yeah, it was quite a fascinating session, actually. Not really for you guys. For you guys, it's just a standard qualifying session. For me, I've picked the wrong time to record videos because I don't know how many times I had to pause, either during a lap or just different, or if I was in the pits, just because my phone kept going off. I ended up just throwing it on the floor and turning it off because it was really annoying. But for you, I mean, that doesn't mean anything to you because, you know, you're just watching the actual bits where I'm not actually dealing with my phone. But we come across the line then. We actually had to do a second run in Q1 because my first lap was really, really poor. But eventually we do come across with a 109.7, which was not a good lap at all, but it just about got me through into Q2. Very close actually there to being knocked out. I believe it was, yeah, a tenth of a second, not even a tenth of a second, less than a tenth. And before we get knocked out. Imagine if I got knocked out in Q, that would have been awful. But we didn't, so let's just take that on the chin. In towards Q2 now, you can see that we set a purple middle sector. So very much finding a bit more speed here. We get very close to the wall there, Anthony notes, but we still managed to get through in one piece. And as we come towards the start-finish line, it is a 109.6, but I believe that was on a scrub set of soft tyres, I want to say. I could be wrong, actually. No, I'm not, I'm right. So now as we come through in towards the last corner once again, now we found ourselves 7/10 of a second on this lap, which means that we're going to average around about a 108.9, and we actually come across the line and do a 108.84, and that was actually fastest in Q2, and that's what I was expecting around Monaco. Monaco is the track where you're most likely, if you're not able to smash into a wall, to get your first podium or race victory. But what was a massive shock is look who's out in qualifying. Leclerc has been knocked out, Albon is out, and Lewis Hamilton, and Kevin Magnussen, who won the last Grand Prix in Spain, by the way. Yes, Kevin Magnussen in the Racing Point. If you haven't seen that episode, go check it out. Both Racing Points knocked out as well, so a really shocking Q2 there that so many big runners getting knocked out early on as my teammate Perez goes on to provisional pole with a 109.4. We can get into the 108s, so that's definitely a lap time that we can beat. However, I am currently out there on a very, very, very scrub set of soft tyres. I've done literally every single qualifying session on that set of tyres, and I'm going to go to my one more set of fresh soft tyres I'm pretty much just banking a fastest lap so far with a purple middle sector. Much better exit out of Anthony Node's corner. This time round, it should be good enough. It's a 108.969, slower than my lap in Q2, but it's still good enough to get us pole position for this Monaco Grand Prix. And I think, actually, that's the first time that we've got pole position in my career mode since the Spanish Grand Prix last year. I could be very wrong on that. And obviously, last season. Of course, that was a bug with the AI last season, so yeah. I could be wrong, but I think that's what it was. But we were the only man to get into the 108s, and we even set a slower lap time than we did in Q2. So, yeah, really, really happy with that. In terms of my rival end, now surprisingly, all of the guys that are at the top of the grid are now low on difficulty because we pretty much are either beating them because my AI level T is so low, or we've obviously got the second fastest car now. And for me, it actually does feel like the second fastest car. Yeah, things were aligned today. Very, very strong and positive as Bottas there is flexing a little bit in the background and, you know, doing a cheeky bit of flex as we're now having a look here at Sergio Perez and our team acclaim and driver acclaim, both driver acclaim level 13 and team acclaim at level 17. Now going into the race itself, and of course we are on the pole position for the Grand Prix with Bottas alongside me. I feel like me and Bottas have been very, very close in rivalry this weekend. Perez, though, got a great qualifying session with my teammate as well in P4, so hopefully he can try and bring home a great result for Force career here today. And of course, there are the big heavy hitters, Leclerc, Albon, Hamilton, Magnussen and Stroll, all surprisingly knocked out in Q2. And then, of course, we've got the traditional back markers of, well, King's actually last because he's taken a grid penalty, which is fair enough because, I mean, he was probably going to start last anyway, so might as well take a grid penalty and just confirm that you're starting last, but there you go. Onto the grid now, though. It's going to be a one-stop strategy, soft to mediums, and I'm happy to do that. We could do soft hard, but, you know, the hard tyres would be much better in terms of durability, but I'd rather not slong around with a set of hard tyres. So here we go then, 5 lights, and it's lights out, and we go here to start the Monaco Grand Prix. It was a little bit of a slow getaway there, actually. The initial reactions were quite poor, but as we go in towards Sandoval, we get through in front now. It's ourselves ahead of Bottas. Perez there is attacking Sebastian Vettel in the background now. Let's see if Perez can try and find a way past Vettel. That'd be great for my teammate if he could. Now as we go up the hill now, let's see if Vettel can hold it around the outside of Massenet. He does so. Perez now trying to come back in towards Casino Square, making the run down towards Mirabeau. Vettel will have the inside line here. Perez though, still holding on there. So go on, Sergio. Let's get this position done, my friend, and get up into third place. But as Vettel goes around the outside in towards the Lowe's hairpin, Vettel is then going to take the inside line for the next part of the track, and he's got the move done. So unfortunately for my teammate, he is going to be stuck down in P4. But as you can see though, for us out front, we've got the perfect start here and track position at Monte Carlo. Bottas getting very close though on the exit of the tunnel. That's where I had to be very, very careful because that Mercedes is quicker in a straight line than my car, and I'm running a heavily warm power unit for this Grand Prix weekend. So definitely something to be careful of. But on to lap 2 to start lap 3 of the Grand Prix. Very, very happy out front. We're going to go ahead and set the fastest lap of the race so far on a 1 minute 12.2, and that is very comfortable for us there. And gap to myself and Bottas, 1.3 seconds. But of course, literally every time there's a straight line, Bottas closes in on me. But now skipping all the way to lap 11 of the Grand Prix here, nothing's changed in the order apart from, well, I was just doing my own race really. And as you can see now, we are going to come in for our one and only stop onto the medium compound tyres. Here's the thing with Monaco. It's a boring circuit, so yeah, if I was fighting up the order, it'd be a bit more manic because I'd be trying to make loads of overtakes, but I'm not. I was out front. I built the gap to about 1.5, 1.6 seconds. That's a great pit stop there from the crew, and that actually gets me out a little bit ahead of Bottas there, so I actually gained some time. But now, crucially, as we come out of the pits, this is where our race is going to be absolutely crucial because we've lost track position now to a few cars. We're just about going to rejoin in front of one of the racing points of Lance Stroll, but Stroll now is literally hovering all over the back of the car as we got towards Massenet corner now. But we just about stay in front of the one racing point. Bottas is going to have to overtake him, and now this is the crucial stage of the Grand Prix. If we can get past these cars quickly, the AIs can't overtake around Monaco because they're just terrible. So we're going to go down the inside here of the Lowe's hairpin. I actually took a bit more curb than I thought on the just driving it normally. I didn't think I took it. Oh well, never mind. When I was actually driving in this POV, I thought I was okay. Clearly on the replay camera it showed I kind of wasn't, but who cares? I've got to barge your way through somehow. Lap 13 of the Grand Prix. Now that gap between myself and Stroll is 2.1 seconds. Crucially, of course, that gap between myself and Bottas then is going to be around 2.5, 2.6 seconds. So we are gaining from him as we make a lunge down the inside of Alexander Albon into the last corner, and we're through safely into third place now. And Hamilton is 2.7 seconds up the road as we enter lap 14 of the Grand Prix. Make that 3 seconds is in a straight line. This car just doesn't functionate anymore because, well, it's not a car, it's very slow, okay? But on to the end of lap 14 to start lap 15, and actually pretty much onto the end of the lap, back end slides out through there. We've gained that gap down behind Lewis Hamilton from what was 3 seconds to 1 second, averaging 2 seconds a lap faster than the AIs now that have not stopped yet for a fresh set of tyres. And as we come across the start-finish line, it's a 1:11.984 to set the new fastest lap of the Grand Prix so far. Now we've got Hamilton and Leclerc to try and negotiate, and on to the end of the next lap, we're going to go ahead and conquer that. So now as we go through in towards Rascasse here, we're going to set ourselves up, go very deep on the brakes, go round the outside, switch back in, get a better run in towards Anthony No's corner, down the inside of Lewis Hamilton, nice and clean, nice and smooth, and it's a classic trademark overtake that I really learnt in this Grand Prix, to set myself up in Rascasse and then go for it. And hey, let's do it again, shall we? So, Charles Leclerc then, as we go towards Rascasse here, we're going to go towards the outside line, set the car up, switch the car back inside, get a better run, squeeze the power down on the exit. A little bit of contact though on this time around, and we actually get side pod glitch there onto Charles Leclerc, so that was a little bit worrying, but we open up the ERS, and also we've got the DRS active, and we go through now into the lead of the Monaco Grand Prix, overtaking both Magnussen, Albon, Hamilton and Leclerc. Leclerc though is going to have a better run though going up the hill because the car is not set up for straight line speed at all, and Leclerc had a little bit of a look then to try and get back past me, but I wasn't going to let that happen without a little bit of a defence then. And now we can pull away because we've got the pace. And crucially now, as we enter lap 22 of the Grand Prix, remember when I said, whoops, ignore that track limits. Remember when I said Bottas is going to be stuck behind Magnussen for a long time? Yeah, he never got past him. So now I have a 14-second lead after what was half a second when we pitted, you know. That just goes to show around Monaco, when I say about it's very easy for you to win, yeah, because if you make one overtake, you're completely fine. Lap 26 of the Grand Prix now. I'm actually increasing the gaps up to 15.1 now, but we've got Raikkonen out of the session. And speaking of Kimi Raikkonen, there he is actually. We just went past him there, so sorry, Kimi. But we'll have a little look now at what happened here. So as you can see, it was literally just a straight-up mechanical failure for the car. No engine blowout, but a shame there for the Alfa Romeo, who parks up to one side. But speaking of ourselves, there we go, with a beautiful over-the-top shot there going on through. But that was all of that, really. From that point, whoops-a-daisy. Tried to keep my concentration, but clearly, as you can tell, I wasn't concentrating on the final lap of the Grand Prix. I turned everything down and just cruised it home for the Monaco Grand Prix victory here today. We absolutely dominated the race proceedings this weekend, and I mean, it's a very simple racetrack to actually go around. It was initially a track, you guys will know it, from F1 2018 to previous F1 games, with F1 2018 being the most recent. I absolutely hated this circuit with an absolute passion. But from F1 2019 onwards, for some reason, I just absolutely clicked with it. It's a great track to drive, especially when you can get it right. And like I said, the crucial element of the Grand Prix was being able to overtake the drivers as soon as we came out of the pits. Because Bottas never even got past Magnussen, and that opened me up to a 15-second lead. The gap dropped to 8.8 seconds. I was kind of pushing. Tyres went off though at the end of the Grand Prix. And from then on in, yeah, I just cruised. There was nothing else that I really needed to do on that front. So, yeah. It's a real shame, obviously, around Monaco that, I mean, obviously it's the hardest track on the calendar to overtake on, but the fact is I don't think the AIs literally do make a single overtake. I wish they'd just, you know, kind of do what we do and just try and go for it. Because, you know, like, I mean, with my overtakes, apart from Magnussen's kind of rashish move into the lowest hairpin, the other moves, I just set myself up into Rascasse with the extra tyres and grip that I had to then just go for it as we get a bit of an editing problem there. Whoops. As we go through Rascasse corner, I then just switch back in, get the throttle on with the fresh tyres, use that to pull alongside, brake late, and then just go on through. So Leclerc actually didn't even score any points today. Lewis Hamilton, though, got driver of the day because he managed to recover to P6 after starting in P13. But the top three stayed as they are. Perez, though, finished in P5, which was awesome for him. And in the Drivers' Championship, we're now pulling away quite considerably. The gap is 53 points now between myself and Lewis Hamilton. Of course, we've been very, very lucky this season that when we've been on form, the AIs around me haven't. And then when I have been off form, e.g. last race where I didn't even score any points, my rivals didn't really score any points either. Constructors' Championship, we are leading the championship by 13 points over Mercedes-Benz with Ferrari 19 points behind. Now, Claire, what have you got to say to me? Was there any competition for you today? No, there was nothing because I was leading from start to finish, bar when I had to overtake a couple of cars, but you know, it is what it is. No, I don't even know what I picked here. I think I just lied. Yeah, I just picked power unit for the lies. Yeah, I mean, things are definitely looking up because, you know, I moved my head to do that. But yeah, I mean, we made a lot of... I wouldn't say we made many changes compared to last week, but we were just more composed. In terms of exceeding expectations... yeah, everyone expects me to race on 110% AI, and I'm not. So, therefore, I'm not exceeding, actually. It wasn't the clearest race today, was it? Yeah, there was contact in there, but it's Monaco. You're going to have to get your elbows out to get some moves done. Otherwise, you're just going to be stuck in the same place for God's on end. But in the rivalry then, with Sebastian Vettel, who I forgot I even chose, we win that 5 points to 3, which is cool. So, we're going to be able to start that rivalry off quite nicely there. And in terms of the team acclaim... well, driver acclaim, I've actually closed up now to be within touching distance of a driver acclaim level 14. Perez, though, still not in there, and we're still there. But check that out for a cheeky little bit of a bonus. A £2.2 million bonus coming my way. Thank you very much, sponsors. I will make it rain with my cash. Up to 13.3 million now, which is brilliant because it means that we're now on a baseline where we can continue to invest and continue to try and build on our facilities, but also save enough money so that we can re-sign Sergio Perez for the remainder of the season. Because I want to keep Perez for at least the rest of the season. I don't really want to change him. You know, he's had very strong point scoring finishes. He's also been unlucky. Australia, he had DNF'd, you know, and there was other races here and there where he had problems as well. Like Zandvoort, for an example, in there. So, having a look now at the upgrades here. So we're going to be doing a weight... No, we're not. We're going to be doing a chassis equipment upgrade because it gives us some resource points. Some weight training for Sergio Perez. And then I decided to do a sponsor advertisement for the vehicle in there. So, guys, if you have enjoyed today's episode, feel free to drop it a like and subscribe to the channel if you're new around here as well. As we try and make our way towards 20,000 subscribers by the end of the year. We're going to make an upgrade for the tyre wear because I feel like that's becoming a problem. And hopefully it gets in the car for the next episode. Take care all. Peace.